Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today, we are looking into BigBear.ai Holdings. Now, this company sits right at a really interesting, critical spot: defense, intelligence, and AI, which, it means it has this massive institutional potential, but at the same time, it's got some serious near-term volatility.
Absolutely. It's a real push and pull.
So the clue we're trying to help you answer today is pretty simple. Looking at everything, is BigBear.ai a stock you should consider buying right now?
Yeah, that's the core tension, isn't it? Because the information we have is, well, it's conflicting. You see declining quarterly revenue, pretty significant losses, actually.
Right.
But then you flip the page, and they've got a record amount of cash on hand, plus these huge potential boosts coming from federal spending. So our job today is really to unpack that whole risk versus reward picture, give you a balanced view.
Okay, great. And before we dive in, just a quick reminder, if you find this kind of analysis useful, please do subscribe, hit that like button, maybe leave us a comment.
Yeah, definitely let us know what you think.
And hey, if there's another company you're curious about, one you'd like us to look into, drop that in the comments too. We're always looking for ideas. All right, so let's start with the financials, maybe the part that makes investors a bit nervous first.
Frank headwinds, yeah.
Exactly. They're significant. So Q2 2025 revenue came in at $32.5 million,
Okay.
which is actually an 18% drop compared to the same quarter in 2024.
Oof, 18% year over year.
Yeah. And then their guidance for the full year, 2025, feels a bit cautious. $125 million to $140 million.
That range definitely points towards that profitability hurdle we mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be blunt, the company isn't profitable right now.
No.
The trailing 12-month net loss, it's huge. We're talking $443.92 million. That number alone, it can scare people off.
Understandably.
Management, of course, they say they're cutting costs, optimizing. They expect margins to get better as new contracts kick in. But, it's still a major concern. It requires a certain appetite for risk, especially if you're focused on the short term.
That's vital context. But then, here's the flip side, the counter-argument. And honestly, probably why the big money is still interested. Despite the revenue dip, despite that huge loss, BigBear.ai reported a record cash balance, $390.8 million as of June 30th, 2025.
Yeah, see, that cash balance, it completely shifts the narrative. It's not just about resilience. When you're burning cash like they are, but sitting on almost $400 million, that's your lifeline. That's your bridge.
It buys them time.
Exactly. It insulates them from market panic, gives them, potentially years of runway to navigate this choppy federal contracting cycle. For smart investors, that cash is maybe an M&A war chest or just a guarantee they won't need to dilute shareholders right now.
It's like the ultimate safety net, isn't it? Lets management operate without that constant solvency pressure. That nearly $400 million lets them push for growth and, crucially, wait for the government to finalize those big deals there.
Precisely. And speaking of catalysts, there's one coming up pretty soon. The Q3 earnings date, November 4th, 2025.
Okay, mark the calendar.
Management has actually flagged this date themselves. They seem to think it could be an inflection point, maybe some positive news on those contracts finally landing. The market's definitely watching November 4th. Will that cash cushion start turning into real forward-looking revenue?
Okay, so shifting from the pure financials, let's talk about their structural advantage. Why is there so much institutional interest despite all the volatility?
It really comes down to their competitive moat. You have to understand their focus. They do AI-powered decision intelligence, but specifically for really critical sectors: defense, border security, intelligence.
It's almost like they're an AI company disguised as a utility in a way.
Kind of, yeah. These areas has incredibly high barriers to entry security clearances, established relationships.
You can't just start one of these tomorrow.
Not at all. And crucially, they have reliable government demand. That deep integration with U.S. federal agencies, that's their unique edge. It buffers them somewhat from, say, a downturn in consumer tech.
And that moat, as you call it, is about to get a potential flood of investment, right? But this federal legislation piece seems huge.
Oh, it's massive. The CEO keeps talking about their alignment with something called the One Big Beautiful Bill in the source material.
Okay, help me unpack that. $320 billion is a staggering number. What exactly is this bill, and where's the money going?
Right, so it's supplemental funding Congress is pushing through, specifically for high-tech defense and security upgrades. Over $320 billion total.
Wow.
And the breakdown's key. About $170 billion is tagged for Homeland Security, $150 billion for the Department of Defense. The source calls it a transformative level of investment.
Transformative.
And it's aimed squarely at what BigBear.ai does. Things like predictive AI for maintenance, better logistics, intelligence for multi-domain operations. So for investors, the question isn't if the money's coming, it's more about when BigBear.ai gets its piece.
So again, it comes back to timing risk, but the potential reward is enormous.
Okay, but let's address the skepticism around their backlog.
The backlog number. It sounds impressive. $380 million total backlog. Looks great on a slide, but only about 4% of that is actually funded right now.
And that 4% figure, that's the kicker. It highlights just how dependent they are on these, unpredictable government funding cycles.
So $380 million potential, not guaranteed.
Exactly. It's potential, not locked in, that low funded percentage. That's what makes investors nervous, especially when you compare them to maybe a Palantir, which seems better at turning backlog into actual revenue quicker.
So it makes the stock very much a bet on politics and bureaucracy, essentially.
Fundamentally, yes. You're waiting on those government wheels to turn. Now, management knows this is a vulnerability, so they are trying to diversify a bit.
Right. I saw mentions of commercial efforts. Something with the NFL. And a project in Panama.
Yeah, early stage stuff. An NFL partnership, a Panama cargo security project.
Well, hang on. Panama Cargo and the NFL. Compared to $320 billion in potential federal money. I mean, are these just tokens? Are analysts really factoring these in for revenue stability anytime soon?
That's a fair question. Most analysts are pretty skeptical about their short-term impact.
Yeah.
They show maybe a good strategic direction that management wants to diversify. But you're right, they're tiny compared to the potential federal contracts. For now, maybe they serve more of a psychological purpose, showing investors they aren't only tied to DC budgets, even if, realistically, 95% of the growth story is still government-focused.
That makes sense. It's really all about the federal angle for now. Okay, let's switch gears then. What are the technical signals telling us? What's the market actually doing with the stock?
All right, so as of October 1st, 2025, the stock was trading around $6.82.
Okay.
And volatility is definitely the name of the game here. The 52-week range is huge, $1.36 on the low end, all the way up to $10.36.
Wow, that's a wide swing.
It is, but what should really grab your attention is how far it's come from that $1.36 low.
Good point.
That suggests a pretty major shift in sentiment over the last year. The market seems to be finally starting to price in that structural opportunity we were just talking about. That panic floor is well behind us, it seems.
And the technical charts seem to back that up. Is the trend bullish?
It is, yeah. The 3-month trend is clearly bullish. The stock's trading well above both key moving averages.
The 50-day and 200-day.
Exactly. The 50-day simple moving average is around $6.13, and the 200-day is sitting lower, around $4.84.
So being above both is a strong signal.
It's a key confirmation, technically speaking. It visually tells you the longer-term upward move looks pretty stable, and recent dips are probably getting bought. Suggests momentum is with the bulls right now.
Okay. And what about price targets? Any technical projections?
The forecasts we're seeing put a range for the next 3 months, somewhere between $6.40 and $7.50. So continued stability, maybe some upside.
But there's resistance.
Yeah, keep an eye on that $7, $8 zone. Getting through that level will likely need a real catalyst like those Q3 earnings or a big contract announcement.
And this upward move, is it just retail hype or is institutional money involved too?
Oh, it's definitely backed by institutional endorsement. There was some big news, actually. Goldman Sachs Group.
Oh, really? What did they do?
They increased their stake by, you get this, 569% in the first quarter.
Wait, 569%? That's not just nibbling.
No, it's a massive vote of confidence.
So what's the thinking there? Is Goldman betting purely on the tech, or is it just a play on that big, beautiful bill money coming through? What's the motive?
The sources suggest they're likely betting on that long-term, sort of non-cyclical government moat.
Okay.
Goldman seems to be saying, we believe the cash cushion is enough to ride out the contract timing issues. That kind of big institutional buying helps stabilize the price and validates the longer-term story, even when things look choppy quarter to quarter. And analyst consensus generally lines up mostly a strong buy.
Right, and that institutional confidence, it often spills over into retail sentiment, doesn't it?
Ugh.
Are we seeing speculative buzz?
Absolutely. There's quite a bit of chatter, a lot of unconfirmed rumors floating around.
Like what?
Everything from whispers about major new DoD contracts about to drop to social media buzz on Twitter, Reddit, you name it. speculation about potential acquisitions or strategic partnerships. It's all fueled by the company's position in those critical sectors and, of course, all that new federal money potentially coming down the pipeline.
Okay, so a lot of potential upside driven by government spending and AI adoption. But we have to talk risks.
Definitely. With a stock like this, driven by unpredictable government timing, the risks are just as big as the potential rewards. You have to understand them.
So what are the key ones?
Number one, as we hit on a few times, contract timing. Revenue is going to be volatile because landing these huge federal deals can get delayed. Months, even years sometimes.
Okay, timing risk.
Yeah. Second, execution risk. Even if they win the big contract, can they actually scale up effectively? Can they manage the projects profitably while they're still losing money overall? Transitioning from that high growth phase to being operationally stable, that's a real challenge.
Got it. Scaling and execution. Anything else?
And third, market risk. Don't forget the beta, it's high 3.1.
What does that mean practically for an investor?
It means this stock is like putting your portfolio on steroids, both ways. If the S&P 500 goes up 1%, BigBear.ai tends to jump about 3.19%. Great on the way up.
But on the way down.
Exactly. In a risk-off market, it'll likely fall much harder and faster than the overall market. You need a strong stomach for that kind of volatility.
Okay, so pulling it all together, the huge cash pile, the government moat, the massive opportunity, but also the timing risk, execution risk, market risk. Where did the sources land overall?
The overall rating from the material comes out as bullish, actually, an 8.5 out of 10.
Interesting. So despite the risks, still quite positive, who is this stock attractive for then?
It seems attractive for two main groups, really. First, the short-term traders.
Because of the volatility.
Exactly. You've got potentially big price swings coming around that November 4th earnings date and any news on federal contracts. If you're looking for leverage momentum plays, this is on the radar.
Okay, short-term traders. And the second group?
Long-term investors, those seeking, dedicated exposure to that whole mission-critical AI adoption trend, the multi-year digital transformation happening in government.
So if you believe that government spending on security tech is a long-term structural trend,
then this company offers pretty direct exposure to that, yeah.
So the final decision, it really boils down to weighing those conflicting signals, doesn't it?
It really does. It hinges on this arbitrage, almost. Is the current price, around $6.82, fully accounting for the risk of slow contract conversion, or is it undervaluing the almost inevitable flow of that $320 billion in funding? Can the cash and the structural demand overcome the near-term revenue struggles and that tricky backlog conversion? That's the bet.
And I think what makes BigBear.ai really stand out, compared to maybe other high-growth tech plays, is that position in the mission-critical space. It's shielded to some extent by those government barriers to entry. That's the bedrock of the bull case, right?
Absolutely. And that leads us to the final provocative thought we want to leave you, the listener, with.
Okay, let's hear it.
Considering that $380 million backlog and all this new federal money supposedly on the way, the really critical question is this. Is BigBear.ai always going to be dependent on the whims and timing of these huge, lumpy government contracts? Or will they manage to execute successfully on these newer commercial ventures, like that Panama project or whatever comes next? Can they actually use those to scale, truly diversify their revenue, and finally close that big, persistent profitability gap, that $443 million loss?
Because that shift from just government reliance to real commercial scale, that's what determines if this becomes a true long-term winner or not.
Precisely. That's the outcome that defines the long-term value here.
Fascinating stuff. Well, thank you for joining us for this analysis today.
Always a pleasure. We'll catch you next time on Investing Talk Podcast.